I'm really grateful to God that I was open-minded and accepting what was coming towards me. Sometimes we become closed-minded and we can only see in tunnel vision. We become very myopic.
Welcome back to Studio 5. You're in Conversations from Studio 5, and I'm your host, Efrem Graham. Thank you so much for making this your destination for uplifting interviews in the world of lifestyle and entertainment. Every single week, as you know, it's our goal to connect popular culture and faith with you. And this week, we are tapping Dr. Ian Smith to help us do that. He's a physician, television host, and author, and his latest book is a plan to improve your health. It's called The MetFlex Diet. It reveals a strategic way to burn fat effectively, and it is not just about burning calories. So, who is this book for, the MetFlex Diet? Who is it for?
The MetFlex Diet is for everyone. It is a program that says to people that your metabolism is likely stuck, which means that it's not able to burn both fuel sources. Two major fuel sources are carbs and fats. And unfortunately, some of us can only burn one or the other well. So you can burn fats well, but not carbs. You can burn carbs well, but not fats. And so the MetFlex Diet is a 6-week program that says you are going to retrain your body to be able to burn whatever fuel source you see. So if you sit down to a meal that has lots of fat, you can burn it. If you sit down to a meal like pasta or pizza with lots of carbs, you can burn it. And that's why the program's for everyone. It kind of retrains your body. It unsticks your metabolism.
Okay, so it's a 6-week process that we're going through with this. What happens after the 6 weeks? I know people wonder.
Yes. So the idea behind almost all of my books is to give people a blueprint of how to live. I don't want you staying on a diet per se for the rest of your life.
Okay.
I want you to learn the principles and learn the concepts, and then to be able to instill it in just a regular way of eating and moving. And so after 6 weeks, some people will do another cycle. We have a Facebook group which is called MetFlex Diet that people can join with us, and I'm on there helping people. But people in the group will do 2 cycles, and then the idea is to put the book away and then go ahead and eat and live. And now hopefully you have changed your choices, you understand how to make better decisions, not perfect decisions, but better decisions, and therefore you're not on a diet anymore. And then every once in a while, if you feel like you kind of strayed too far, do a week or 2 as like a tune-up, like tuning up your car, and you're fine.
How did you uncover this? Because this seems new to me.
Well, it was new to me also. So this was new to me because so many people were asking me why they were not able to lose weight after making the changes that had been recommended. Eating better, exercising more, the number on the scale still wasn't moving. And then I was doing some research and discovered, I didn't create the term, but discovered a term out there called metabolic flexibility, which basically means having a flexible metabolism. The idea is that you can burn carbs well, and fats well, both of them well. You're flexible. We tend to only burn one or the other, and that's inflexible. And so the concept was not my concept, but understanding that concept and being able to apply it to people who are not doing well as far as weight loss, it all made sense.
How do we get to this point of our metabolism being stuck, if you will? What happens?
Yeah, that's a great question, by the way. We're not sure why people end up having a stuck metabolism. We think that people tend to not have a varied diet, which means you're only seeing certain types of macronutrients. Okay?
So
you get accustomed to what you're seeing. Some people say, I'm not going to eat carbs. That's the worst thing to do because your body, for lack of a better term, becomes out of practice in being able to burn carbs.
Yeah.
So when you do see carbs, your body does not respond in the way that you want it to or it should. And so this program says, we are going to reintroduce you to carbs and fats in a way that allows you to learn how to burn them very efficiently and to help you lose weight at the same time.
What does the food look like for this plan? Because whenever we see diet, people think, okay, punishment. What does the food choice look like?
The food is confusing because people don't expect to see this type of food on a diet. You can have pizza, you can have burgers, you can have pasta, you can have steak. You can have regular pancakes. You can have regular food. It's not always what you eat, it's how you eat it. And so the way the program is built is you're going to have keto days and you're going to have carb loading days.
Okay.
So you oscillate between eating keto type of meals and then eating carb friendly meals.
Okay.
And so you're going to eat regular food that you see and that you probably already enjoy, but you're not going to have pasta every day. You're not going to have steak every day. it's certain days you're going to have these types of foods.
Now, I imagine before publishing this, naturally you've tested it, tried it, had people try it. What have you seen?
So I took 1,000 people before it published. The average weight loss was up to 20 pounds in 6 weeks, which is a tremendous number. But beyond the weight loss, people also experienced lowering their blood pressure, lowering their blood sugar levels, their cholesterol levels. So there were a lot of we call them NSVs, non-scale victories. And people also had improved energy. And so this is a big part of the results that we found. So this is before we published it. Now we have a Facebook group of over 20,000 people. It's called Netflix Diet, and they're still having great results.
What started you on this journey when it comes to dieting and health? I think I've talked to you about fasting and intermittent fasting. What started this for you?
I got here by accident. As, you know, sometimes you don't know God's plan until it actually happens, right? And so here I was, a columnist for Time Magazine in New York City. And I was writing this column, in what we call in the back of the book, the back of the magazine. And I was writing about different health issues. And no matter what I wrote about, people would send me emails about weight loss. I'd write about flu. Oh yeah, but can you tell me about this? I write about the Tylenol scare. So what happened was, finally I said, well, there's something here. People are really confused and, you know, pun intended, they're hungry for real information about losing weight and improving their metabolism. And so I felt like in order for me to do a service to my readers, I need to find these answers. And that kind of took me in the path of understanding nutrition and weight loss, things that doctors, by the way, were never trained in. But I just felt like it was my mission to figure this out and to give this information to my readers.
Did you ever personally struggle with these issues yourself?
I have never, knock on wood, I've never had a struggle with weight, just the opposite. I am what's called hypermetabolic. Which means that my metabolism operates at a very high level. So people aren't going to want to hear me say this. It's hard for me to gain weight. And I've tried to do that, by the way, which was an interesting kind of self-experiment. But some people are hypometabolic, which means that they gain weight very easily. But for me, it wasn't about whether or not I had had these experiences. It was that I had had this knowledge. I understood the elements and scientific foundation of it. And I really wanted to be able to give that to people to change their lives.
So you've written many books. What would you say is different about this book?
I think this book is different because the concept is very different. The metabolic flexibility is something I had never even heard of. And the idea that you can kind of oscillate between carb-heavy days and fat-heavy days. I've never been a big proponent of eating fat because I'm actually not a proponent of long-term keto. I don't believe in it. I don't think it's a healthy way or a sustainable way to eat. But short-term keto, which is what this is, cyclical keto, in and out of it, I think is very different. I think this is what makes this book very different from the others that I've written.
Is fasting still an important thing for us to do?
Absolutely. I mean, you know, fasting to me is almost magic in some respects, and not just from a weight loss perspective, but also from a mental perspective. There have been studies that have shown that people who fast regularly tend to be more acute intellectually. It also is very important, of course, for driving your body into your fat stores and using your fat for energy instead of food for energy. Remember, fasting is not starving. Fasting is saying there are going to be periods where you're not eating food. Your body still needs energy during those periods. Where will it go? It goes into your fat stores because fat is stored energy.
I think your impact is so far-reaching. When you, Dr. Smith, now sitting in medical school, is this what you envisioned for yourself, or?
No, actually, I'm supposed to be in the operating room as an orthopedic, well, first a neurosurgeon, then I changed to one to be an orthopedic surgeon. And then all of a sudden, here I am. And the lesson for this is that sometimes you don't choose your mission chooses you. That's really true. Had you asked me in medical school, this is what my career would be, I would say that you were born on another planet because you have no idea what you're talking about. But you have to be open-minded. And I'm really grateful to God that I was open-minded and accepting what was coming towards me. Sometimes we become closed-minded and we can only see in tunnel vision. We become very myopic. And I was just lucky enough, despite the fact that people teased me and thought I was crazy doing TV and not being in the operating room, I just knew that this was right for me. This was my calling.
Have to ask you, being a black doctor and knowing that statistics often are dramatically different for those of us of color, what's your mission there, and what are your thoughts when you're watching the dynamics of what we're?
Well, listen, you know, this isn't about race. it's about the data. The data shows that African American patients who are treated by African American doctors tend to have better results.
Wow.
And it's not that white doctors can't treat African American patients well. Of course they can. I've had white doctors. That is completely going to happen. But we need to have more black doctors. There is something about cultural competency that has nothing to do with book education.
Wow.
What it has to do is understanding the culture. So the way that my grandmother would answer a question, I understand that. And I understand other people's grandmothers like that. But another physician who is not culturally competent may not understand the nuance in her answer. And that little difference can be the difference in what treatment is selected and can be the difference in the outcome. So we need to have more African American doctors. It's extremely important. And we need to have ways in which we encourage young African Americans to become physicians. It's not easy, it's expensive, it's intellectually rigorous, but we need to find ways to keep encouraging young people to get into the profession.
It's funny because hearing you say that, a light bulb just went off. I remember now when I had my first black doctor, and even the dynamics of our conversation changed, and the way she spoke to me was different. And it only went off, and I was like, oh yeah, that's why Dr. Best was so it certainly is. It's definitely different. What's next for you?
Besides the golf course, what's next for me is I write novels. So I write mysteries. And so I just finished a book called The Overnights, which is about a mystery that takes place in Chicago's media scene. But I want to keep writing my mysteries. It got developed. It's being developed into a TV show.
Nice.
The strike is happening right now.
Yeah,
so
we
knock
know.
on wood, it ends, so we can get back to work. But yeah, so I would like to do more fiction writing. I'll still do my nonfiction, but I also like the creative side of kind of creating story. I wrote a love story that we just sold. So my love story hopefully will come out in the next year or so. So just kind of doing what comes to mind and kind of living life.
I love it. Thank you so much.
Thanks for having me.
Pleasure. Dr. Ian's book is available right now. You can grab a copy wherever books are sold. Thank you again for joining us for this edition of Conversations from Studio 5. Hope you'll come back next week. At that time, we're going to sit down with husband and wife filmmakers, Dwayne and Antoinette McCoy. For more information on the show, please be sure to check us out on our Facebook page. You can also find us on Instagram simply by searching Studio 5. I look forward to seeing you again right back here again on the podcast.